What's up, you guys? Okay, so when I first heard about this, I heard this guy talking about it, and like I honestly thought that like he doesn't get like sarcasm, he doesn't get like a joke, he doesn't get like an internet joke. He was talking about how the internet wants Gillian Anderson, Dana Scully, to be the next James Bond. I thought like this has to be like a joke, so like I googled it, and I found out there's like a lot of people out there who want Gillian Anderson to be the next James Bond. No. 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 Obviously, like, this is just like my opinion on this. Like, I respect your opinion, so, you know, please respect mine, but I think this is like one of like the most like ridiculous things that I've heard of in a long, long time. Gillian Anderson is not James Bond. And having Gillian Anderson play James Bond, it's as ridiculous as having like Andy Dick play James Bond. Nothing against Gillian Anderson. I love the X-Files and I love her in that, and other things I've seen her in too. She's great in like everything basically I've seen her in, and same thing with Andy Dick. I like him too. So nothing against these two people as actors, but having Gillian Anderson as James Bond is ridiculous as having somebody like Andy Dick as James Bond. The character James Bond, it's a very specific character. It's you know, in all honesty, James Bond is a man. He's a masculine guy. He's muscular. He's a ladies' man. He's a charmer. He's all these things. Gillian Anderson is not. It's if you take Gillian Anderson and you have her, or you have any other woman, any of these other women that now kind of are throwing their hat in the ring to be James Bond, you're completely changing the character. That's the character that he's been for the past 50 years. If you do that, then it's a completely and totally new character. The character James Bond, barring like a couple little instances, has to be played first and foremost by like a man. It could be a cisgender man, male assigned at birth, and still identifies as a man. It could be a transgender man, female assigned at birth, but identifies as a man. The thing that's most important is that the person who is playing this role fits the mold of the character. You have to look the part and act the part and be the part. The only other instances where it could be played by a woman is two things I could think of. One, if you had a male assigned at birth actor who decides to come out as transgender later on in life, and she's already gone through like a male puberty and already looks the part and can play the part and is not actively transitioning, and then if she wants to play it, then that's fine. Or if you happen to have, and I can't think of anybody who would fit this bill, but if you happen to have some type of cisgender woman who, for her, it would be, unfortunately, looks and sounds exactly like an adult man with all the muscles and everything, and if she wanted to play it, then she could play it too, but I don't know anybody who could play that role like that. For what it's worth, I never thought Daniel Craig was a good choice for James Bond either, mainly because he's like blonde. He's not anywhere near as bad, in my opinion, as somebody like Gillian Anderson, but I always thought he was a bad choice too. He's great in other things, but I just always thought he was a bad choice. Yeah, so like personally, like, I don't see like what they hope to accomplish if they actually go with a female James Bond. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anybody in the studios is going to greenlight that. I mean, these movies are so expensive to make, and I think out there a female James Bond would flop. So I don't think anybody's going to put money backing it, but just for the sake of the video, if this were to happen, I just don't understand like what they would plan to do. Would they change the whole character, make it like from James Bond to like Jane Bond? Like that's changing the whole character. That's no longer than 007. That's no longer James Bond. Then that's like a totally different movie and a totally different thing. And you want to make out there like a really cool, strong female spy. That's awesome, and definitely do that. And I would go see that, and I would love to see that. But not changing the whole character of James Bond. Like no, like that character needs to stay the same because it's been going that way. It's been working for half a century. Or, you know what, I mean, are they going to do something like as completely ridiculous as actually keep the name James Bond and then have like some lady like who doesn't look at all like anything remotely James Bond and still have her try to pretend to be James Bond? I mean, that's not going to happen, obviously. That would be beyond ridiculous. I don't know what the people who want to see this happen, what they would want. Do they want to change the whole character? Do they want something, you know, ridiculous? Like, oh, and I do want to say this. I don't blame Gillian Anderson at all for saying like she wants to play it, like, or any of these other women who say like they want to play it. If for somehow she did get some type of role being the first female James Bond, she'd be set for life. She would get so much press for that. She would be all good press, kind of. And so many people would consider her a role model and a hero and all that stuff. She would just be set for life for speaking engagements and other roles and stuff like that. So I can't blame her. I know for myself, like if I found out like they wanted to make like a James Bond, they wanted to switch the character, they want to do like a really young James Bond. Maybe even have like somebody play like a teenage James Bond. Like, even though I would still think that's like a really stupid thing, I throw my hat in the ring for that. So I can't blame Gillian Anderson or anybody else. It's nothing against them. This video is nothing against them. It's just my opinion on this. Let me know what you guys think on this. If you guys think it's a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea. As for who I would pick as the next James Bond, I was gonna say it in this video, but I decided not to because I want to like make like a whole video about that, because I think the person who I would pick would be a really good choice and kind of like the only choice. So yeah, you guys can let me know also who you would pick as James Bond. Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like, hit subscribe, and yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day. Peace.